What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Welcome to episode number 73 of the Ambitious Vet Show with Marine veteran and founder of Rich Cardona Media, Rich Cardona. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet Podcast, where we believe if you desire more than you have in an area of life, you have to become more in the process. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine Corps combat veteran, turned social entrepreneur, family man, and personal and professional development leader. On this show, I dive into the trenches with big thinking and conscious veterans who know what it takes to not only pay the bills after the military, but really live with a sense of purpose, satisfaction, and career fulfillment we all desire most after financial stability is no longer a challenge to overcome. Ambitious Vet, if you haven't already, grab your pen and paper. It's time to gain the golden grenades needed to break through your fear barriers to live a life of purpose with passion. Do you consider yourself a spectator or someone who prides themselves in taking action aligned with what they believe in? You know, one thing I've learned a long time ago is when you start taking consistent actions toward a desired primary aim or end goal, things magically happen and show up that would not have shown up if you were just sitting back, spectating, consistently consuming stuff that may or may not be making a difference. Well, if you're listening to this and you're just like, Chris, I am an action taker, and you are ready to innovate the veteran community with us in 2020, I want to invite you personally to take a 10 minutes of your time to participate in our qualitative research study that will have us understand the commitments, needs, and desires that you have after financial stability is no longer a problem to solve. My promise to you is the data we collect will be confidential, and it will make a big difference this year as we plan on turning this online movement into an in-person fire team model and also corporate trainings to help veterans accelerate their effectiveness and efficiency in their lives, their careers, and businesses. So if you want to be one of the 100 veterans we are committed to having their voice be heard and being responsible where we are going to take this thing next, I invite you to click the link in the show notes below, take the 10-minute survey, and let's elevate the veteran community together. What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Welcome to another episode. Very grateful that you're here and diving into the trenches with us as we dive into today's episode with Rich Cardona. If you don't know who Rich Cardona is, he's CEO and founder of Rich Cardona Media and host of the Leadership Locker. Now, Rich is a retired Marine Corps aviator who tried the whole traditional job route after serving his country. Now, while being successful, Rich was unfulfilled and knew he was destined for something more. He decided to leave the workforce and has recorded conversations with C-suite executives and influencers. Now, this gave him the ability to satisfy his desire of just continuously enhancing his leadership skills while also sharing these lessons with others. He soon realized that there were many other passionate leaders out there in the world who knew a social media video strategy was needed, but did not have the bandwidth to develop and execute it. Now, a little over a year and a half in, I think he's been able to work with the likes of the founder of Bunker Labs, Todd Connor, Gary Vaynerchuk, the serial entrepreneur, which I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you're familiar with, and many other thought leaders, influencers out there that are making a real impact. And this is in his own words, not mine, not just producing random shit, random products, really making an impact in the world. So, Ambitious Vet, if you're listening to this, I want you to listen for a few key golden grenades that I took notes on. I think that are really going to help bridge some gaps in you getting to where you want to be in any area of life that you may be unsatisfied in. And one is listen for how video marketing can accelerate your trust and credibility inside your desired industry. No matter if you're a mid-level manager or a startup entrepreneur, listen to how he articulates how it can accelerate your trust and credibility online. Now, also another thing is listen for, what thing you need to focus on in videos that you may not be focusing on right now. Maybe you're just getting started with Facebook Lives or video marketing on LinkedIn, Facebook, but there's this one thing Rich has discovered that if you get this right, on top of everything, things start moving for you on video marketing. Now, also, how to act from where you want to be versus fear. I mean, a lot of us, when we're first getting out, first 3 years, we are reacting versus being proactive with things. And he talks about how to be proactive. Also, for those of us who are tired of wasted nights of non-impactful networking events, I know that is me. Also, I can identify Rich Cardona. I'm not always the guy that loves to go to in-person networking events all the time. He dives into how can we who can identify with that position ourselves to be discovered on purpose, right? And he dives into some great tactics to where we don't always have to be in networking events that are wasting 3 or 4 hours of our time. So guys, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive in with Rich Cardona. Let's go get it.
What's going on, ambitious vets? Here on the show today, we got Rich Cardona. Rich, how are you?
I am caffeinating. I'm happy. And dude, I'm just like really glad to finally do this with you.
Yeah, man, me too. I mean, I originally met Rich Cardona at the Military Infantry Conference actually last year in DC, and just the amount of services that this man provides, and just out there doing what he does and doing it well, and then it was crazy. I was out here at a Veteran in Business Network GovCon conference, and I just ran into you by random as well, doing what you do. Just really promoting other thought leaders and influencers in the world. And man, it's great to be able to promote you on the platform and just give you access and empowering ambitious vets. So in your own words, what would you say you do, Rich?
In my own words, I'll tell you what I do before I tell you what I actually do. I fail a lot is what I do. And I win a lot because I fail a lot. And I have a habit of never settling, which I feel like I'm blessed with. I get over mistakes pretty quickly and have made, and you're a Marine, I'm a Marine, man. Like everyone in the audience has made just so many ridiculous mistakes, and just never settling for what you think it all is probably the best thing. What I do is exactly what you said, man. I love to highlight other influencers. Excuse me, I don't consider myself an influencer, but I love to highlight people who are in the space trying to do good things, trying to leverage their personal brand to bring value to others. I don't typically support clients who are just like selling random shit. I really want to like help people out who need to be on the map, and I do that through video, and I hook them up and make content for them so they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And even for myself, and building this audience and stuff like that over the past 2.5 years, I found that, video and stuff like that is challenging. It's scary to do.
Yep.
It's no easy thing to do.
There's so many considerations, man. There's so many reasons not to pull the trigger on video, so to speak. And it's just like, once you're like over that, it's all good, man. Or, I mean, literally, man, like that's why I have the business. Just take it all out, right? Like if I went to you right now and you wanted to make some YouTube videos, like we could do that in like a second. And whatever you were thinking self-consciously, if you were, or how you sound or how you look, or what am I going to say? Like, dude, I'm the secret sauce of that shit. Like I will get you speaking like a normal human being who's not robotic, pitching your fucking business like an asshole. You're just normal, and that's all I want, man. I just want people to just be normal and be like, dude, that's what everyone wants on social media, man. They just want someone who they could relate to.
Mm.
So yeah, man, like all the reasons not to, man, I could talk to anyone offline about how to get over some of that stuff. But once you push through, you'll be straight. You just got to keep going and going.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because I remember building the brand we have here at the Ambitious Vet Network, and it was a lot of Facebook Lives and stuff like that. And although I'm like highly energized doing it, sometimes the video isn't quality and stuff like that. And although I get real time engagement sometimes with the audience, it's like it's not quality. And I feel like video in general on social media and online, it's just a great way to bridge the trust, the credibility gap, and stuff like that with people. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I believe it is the fastest way to a virtual connection, right? So if you and I had not met, right, and we were a military influencer, or we did meet and you're a military influencer, and then you're like, let me check this guy out, because that's what we all do, man. We go to everyone's social media profiles and we see what the hell they're about. And you check, then you'd be like, okay, cool. Like I resonate with some of this guy's stuff. And it's just the fastest way to kind of form that connection. You know why? Because there's people like me and jarheads listening, and jarheads that are listening that don't like to read, man. Like, sorry, dude. Like, I'm just like I don't even know how I made it through life. So, reading for me is like taxing. And then an image, I'm just like, dude, it better be an amazing image that stops me. But otherwise, it's the fastest way to build a virtual connection, and that's all we truly want. And like you said, the live angle is so unbelievably important because it is gives you the opportunity to engage real time with your audience, man. And people sleep on that. Like, dude, that's how you really prove if you're an expert and if you're fucking about it. Like, for sure, right? Like, there's no, what are you gonna do? Like, technical connection, delete, like, end live video.
Right.
So, yeah, man. Like, it's so important, and like the body language, man. The the body language, just your mannerisms, what you have to say, when you have to say it, when it's unprepared. And the last thing I want to say, man, is tell me this. If when I say I have a dream, what do you think about, or who do you think about?
Oh man, Martin Luther King.
Okay, like audio and video was dog shit, right? Like, think about it. Like, if the message is fucking crystal clear and you know what the hell you're talking about and why you're talking about it, and there's like the passion behind it, like, dude, ultimately it doesn't matter, right? Ultimately it doesn't matter. So if your sound's off, don't hit delete, don't not post. If the picture's not that great, don't not post, unless literally the camera's facing a wall or something like that. But think about it, man. Like, some of the most historic things that we ever remember don't necessarily have the best quality. So of course it's like, dude, video's the gravy and the whipped cream and the sprinkles, whatever you want to call it. But if the message is clear, you're going to be good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, I back when I was doing Facebook Lives like once a week, I remember a lot of people that we both know in our networks would just message me. They're just like, well, how do you frame a Facebook Live? How do you like be good on video? Because I'm super stoic or whatever. And it sounds like you do a great job as far as from setup to making sure they're good on video and everything. You're like pretty much having it like almost done for them. They just got to really show up and bring their thought leadership, it sounds like.
That is exactly my goal. Like, I want to get you more visibility. I want you to bring more value to your people, and I want you to get more leads and all that shit. And I want to do it without increasing the workload for you, period, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's done for you. Like, I mean, look, like, and the shit is not cheap. All right. So, like, I will get to that golden grenade, but fucking veterans are cheap as fuck. So I'm so happy, dude. Hold on, let me just say this, man. I'm so happy to be on a podcast where I could just be like, freaking, like, I'm back on the block, and the Marine
Awesome.
block that is, just saying what the hell I got to say, however I got to say it.
Please.
But yeah, man, like, it's when it comes to all that, I really do want to serve, man. Like, service after service is actually incredibly important to me. And like, we all do it in different ways, man. Look, you don't have a freaking beard and I don't have a beard, and we're not like, just like these CrossFit maniacs. Maybe you are, I don't know, man. But like, like, there's a typical thing. And then there's just like, I'm doing it my way. And I think doing it through video is good. 80% of my clients are veteran CEOs and they love it, man. Like, we can relate, but like, my whole goal is just to allow you to do your thing. I just want you to do your thing, man. And like, I want to do my thing. And that's why we're in it together. It's so much easier working with veterans, by the way. Good Lord, man. So
yeah, they know how to execute. That's what I found. So like, this is Rich Cardona now, right? But I mean, this didn't happen overnight. I mean, you spent 17 years in the United States Marine Corps, hoorah,
yep.
and got out as a captain. But can you walk us through like the first, few years of being out of the Marine Corps, kind of the landmines you hit, and also how you overcame them to get to where you are right now?
Yeah, man. This is like, it's like, when I think about this, it's like reliving it. And it's so funny when you think about some of your experience in the military or the Marine Corps, whatever it may be, you look back on it and sometimes you wish you were back in these crazy adrenaline rush filled situations, like that challenge, those challenges were actually meant something. When I got out, I just wanted to be like, am I worth your, being a fucking butt in a seat at your company? Hello. Like, dude, yeah. I truly felt like I did everything right, man. Like, I was getting out on my terms. I had 3 years to go, but I was taken out of flying because I had a seizure. I knew I was going to get some shitty ground job and they were going to give me orders to freaking Okie or something. And I was just like, no, I'm getting out, put in my papers, went and got an MBA. I did that out of fear, by the way. I did that out of fear because I was scared no one's going to think I was marketable with just like whatever. And then I did what every fucking Marine does and everyone out there does, which is like, oh, leadership, 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 leadership. Like, oh yeah, like it fits in anywhere. Like, no, dude, like but I went to transition class after transition class, all the free resources, and I still ended up at some awful, stupid sales consultant bullshit job. The only good thing is it was remote, but like that landmine is this. I let them talk me into some ridiculous salary and that they somehow qualified me as someone who'd be exceptional at sales. I didn't give a fuck about sales. I didn't want sales. I didn't want anything. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
So it's like, look, I get it. And I promise you guys, like, you're all going to think to yourselves, like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. The more you start thinking about that before you get out, that 2 to 3 years, Chris is talking about is going to be a little bit easier. I promise you that. But here's the thing. Don't just take whatever. I mean, like, if you are in dire straits and you just had a lifestyle shift and now you're like, oh shit, I don't get BAH anymore and all this other stuff, then okay, fine. But it was so hard, man. And dude, it was a veteran centric organization that was literally just like ripping off clients. And then I found out they were like planting metrics and I was just like, I'm out.
Mm.
So next thing is I was looking at Amazon and I went to Glassdoor and I was just like, oh, hell no. I got an offer and I was like, I declined it. And I was like, nah. So then a few months later, my wife and I find out we're having a baby, unexpected, but very welcome. And then I called Amazon back and I'm like, hey guys, da 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 da. And they're like, yeah. And they sent me like a list of locations. I was like, cool. For all the reasons I didn't want to go, in the first place, are all the reasons on day one I was like, oh shit, like a total shit sandwich. I knew immediately, man. Like, and I was actually very happy I was surrounded by veterans. And here's what I would say is another piece of advice. Like, look, it's so good to stay connected with the veteran community, but look, we're all not created equal, number one. And two, like the Army and Marine Corps and Air Force and Navy shit, like that shit still exists on the outside, man. Like, trust me. My first manager was a 26-year Intel Army officer, and this dude was fucking LOST. I'm like, I need his job right now. It was crazy. So that still happens on the outside. But look, man, there's a second time in a row I put myself in a position I didn't want to actually be in. And it was all driven by money because I wanted to be a supporter. I wanted to be a supportive, financially supporting husband, father, everything. So the second other mini point within that is I was around these veterans and man, like, if you're not feeling what's going on and it doesn't align with our values that we know to be true and how things go, and you're like, this corporate shit is kind of crazy. And I don't mean like little things, I just mean like leadership. I lacked leadership. I didn't have anyone for the first time since the Marine Corps and those two jobs. I was like, who the hell am I going to look up to? Dude, my last couple XOs and COs, I was like, I knew I wanted to be like that. And I knew I might never get there, but at least I had something to go for. In these organizations, I was just like, who the fuck? It was awful. It was awful, brother. Anyway, and I stayed for 2 years because my financial advisor was like, hey, it's Amazon stock. And dude, I was miserable. So, and the last point is, at one point, my assistant general manager was an Army vet. And I mean, he did 4 years and that was a long time ago, but I was like, cool, at least I got something. Dude, we weren't even having, this is Amazon. We weren't even having like a Memorial Day celebration. I'm like, what are we doing for Veterans Day? And they're like, here, Rich, you could figure something out. I'm like, okay. And I was like, what? They gave me a budget to go get like cookies and like have a little fucking weird lunch or something. And it was awful, man. So, veterans, just because there's other veterans in your organization doesn't mean you're going to be aligned with them. And the point I'm making, when the most roundabout fucking way ever, is that some people drink the Kool-Aid, and if you don't feel like drinking the Kool-Aid, don't drink the Kool-Aid, man. Like, period. Like, that's it. Like, just don't compromise yourself if you're not where you want to be.
Yeah, I love that. And, specifically what I love about what you just brought up there was, finding the next level leadership to look up to. I know in my case too, as far as, first 3 years out of the Marine Corps, I was always looking at, okay, who is the person I want to be like, and do the whole Tony Robbins thing, match and model, and just read the books that they read, stuff like that. And what are they doing? Who are they studying? What are they watching? Stuff like that. So I can start filling those human capital gaps, right? Like, experience and knowledge and skill set, both soft and hard skills. So it sounds like you start identifying that early. And I'm just happy
Yeah.
that you didn't settle conform, because we all know conformity kills. And
Yeah.
man, a budget for fucking cookies for Veterans Day.
I know, dude. It's crazy. I think ultimately we did like a banner and some cool stuff, but like the fact that it wasn't on the agenda, I'm like, hello.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Like, come on, like you don't even and it was at that moment, by the way, that I found out how many actually veterans worked there, because on 2 different shifts I had to come in and like the little break room was like full. I know, like break room, I mean like a cafeteria. I was like,
Mm.
what? It was
Yeah.
amazing. And at least they knew me now and they could hit me up whenever they needed to. So yeah,
That's awesome. So you became almost a veteran advocate for the company. So that's pretty awesome.
100%,
That's
100%.
great. So, I mean, there's a buzzword that comes out. Everyone's just like, you got to build a personal brand. You're one of the best people as far as building brand equity that I've met recently. But I want to hear in your own terms, speaking to veterans that are been out for 3 years, they're lacking fulfillment in career and lacking a sense of purpose. I mean, what does personal branding mean to Rich Cardona?
It means a self audit, checking yourself on your shit and just looking around and just being like, those days where you're like, what am I doing? Those are like, that's like touching a hot stove, man. You know what I mean? Like the reaction is just like, oh, I don't want to do that again. How many times are you going to be like, what am I doing? And just like let something distract you. And then 5 minutes later, you're over it. That stuff does not go away. Like it lingers and it builds. And what happens is it usually leads to something catastrophic. And by catastrophic, I just mean, I don't know, man, like maybe you having too much to drink one night and letting it all out and just being a complete fucking dickhead, or
Yeah.
maybe it means that you go start spending money on just like random stuff that you don't need because it makes you feel better temporarily. Or maybe it means that, you're just like really disinterested in a lot of things, including your family. And obviously, like these are some personal examples as well, but I mean, like that's what it is, man. So anyway, it means auditing yourself and just actually taking the time to just man up or woman up or whatever and just look and say, am I good with this? Am I good with this? And I'll tell you, like the real easy litmus test, besides the sad Sundays and you thinking about work, Monday ahead, is if you go to bed at all and you're like, is this it? Then you're fucked. You're fucked.
Yeah.
Is this it? Do I really want to climb this corporate ladder that I'm climbing right now? Do I really want to have this customer service job when I know I'm worth so much more? Do I really need to go to school? Or am I so stupid that I actually need to go to school and it's time to just freaking do it?
Yeah.
What is it? Like audit yourself, and you just have to be unflinchingly honest with yourself, because you, Chris, aren't going to do it for me. I'm not going to do it for you. Your wife might not say anything because she wants to protect you, whatever. Like it's all about just being aware and just like being okay with it, and then being like, okay, what's my koa now? What is my koa now that I realize like this sucks and I'm headed nowhere?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, what I hear in that is, ask yourself, what are you awake at night thinking about, right? So, like, before you go to bed, what are those thoughts? What are those things you're thinking about? And, how can you start taking, more small steps towards acting on those and stuff like that. And then,
1,000%.
finding your gaps and just all that and filling that. So that's
Definitely.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, video marketing is becoming a thing in the world today, right? Social media. Yeah, I know last time I checked when I was in the real estate industry, 2 years ago, is 75% of the consumer was on Facebook, but now they're saying over 80% of the decision makers on LinkedIn nowadays.
Yeah.
And video is just becoming a big thing. But for you, being someone that's bringing it to the veteran, influencer, thought leader, and entrepreneurial space, how do you see it changing the game and creating more opportunities in business life and careers for veterans that are desiring more out there in the marketplace?
If I said to you, you know, do you think networking is important, so that way, we could get hooked up with the right people? Like, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone does, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
we all think like networking is going to lead me to that fucking unicorn dude or woman that's going to hire me or buy my services or be my next client or whatever. Like, here's the thing. Like, I hate networking, number one. I know it's super important, but I'm fucking bad at it, man. I don't care like how extroverted I am on camera, but like, oh man. So when it comes to, it's not, everyone always says it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Mm,
The point I'm trying to make here is it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
mm,
When it comes to video and personal branding, are you putting yourself in a position to be discovered on your own laurels? Right? Like, are you positioning yourself out there publicly as someone who's talking about what's important to you? Whether it's a veteran transition, whether it's about reducing the suicide rate, whether it's about nothing related to the veteran community, maybe it's about real estate. Maybe you're like, hey, here's the county I'm in. Here are the trends that you need to know about right now. You do that in 2 minutes or less. You do that a couple times a week. Then all of a sudden, people start paying attention. Like, this dude's always on. I'm just hit him up. And you might be like a really shitty real estate agent. You know what I mean? But you know what? You are providing value up front. You are saying, hey, everyone, I'm a competent authority in this space.
mm,
And if you and I are both real estate agents and we have the same skill level and everything else, and you're using video and I'm not, you're going to win.
mm,
You're going to win. How are you positioning yourself to be discovered is probably the biggest advice I could get. That, and it's not just about putting out your own content. It's about you following hashtags, getting Google alerts on subjects that interest you, and going in and seeing people that write about it and then offering your intelligent perspective on it, or you disagreeing on it, whatever it may be. And that also gets you discovered because someone else might see that comment and be like, damn, Chris has got a good point. I'm going to check him out. I go to your profile, I see some of your other stuff, and then I'm like, dude's legit. I already said it, man, at the beginning. Social media is your new portfolio. Period, point blank, man. Like, it is. That's just how it is.
yeah.
So get it on point. And if you want to take it to another level, don't be scared. Get on video and things will change.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And yeah, I mean, I just back to the point that we were making earlier. I just feel like video is a very easy gateway type of thing to build accelerated trust and stuff like that. Because you can post the quotes, you can post the, all this stuff to show what you value, but you can't hide behind video. You just
Yep.
can't on in a new connected age that we're going on. I mean, more of the talent that's being recruited to corporations even today is remote jobs that are virtual. And I
Exactly.
just feel like you do separate yourself differently if you can communicate from your value base, like you're saying, on live video.
100%, man. I mean,
Yeah,
you hit it all the way.
that's awesome. That's great. So Rich, man, one tradition we have here every episode is, what are three golden grenades that you could drop in here right now for any ambitious vet that's been out for 3 years, just struggling to find that life satisfaction, that career fulfillment or that sense of purpose after financial stability is no longer a problem? What would be three golden grenades you give them right now to accelerate that gap?
What is the last productive thing that you did that you were like, I haven't had anything to eat in 8 hours, or I haven't went and taken a shit in a day? Like, what is it that consumes your time, that is productive, that is stimulating? And there you will find probably something you should look into a little bit further. So that's grenade number one. Number two is, I know I'm all about video and all that other stuff, but two is be part of the conversation, the conversations that are relevant to you, whether it's in the veteran community, if you're a project manager, project management, if you're in sales, whatever it is, like, be part of the community. And like, there's something to be said about our type of personalities because we always want to just crush it no matter what. But dude, this is certainly, especially on the outside, is a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Like, you contributing to the community is actually probably one of the best things you could possibly do for yourself and your personal brand. And if you contribute to the community, you will quickly find out, like, if the conversations bore you and you're like, I actually don't care about any of this stuff, then good. That's a good thing, man. Like, it's a good way to just determine whether or not you should be looking elsewhere. I would say the third golden grenade is this. This might sound unpopular, but I don't care. Is we rest on our military laurels a lot. Okay, so look, if you really, really, really are getting out and you want to, you're going in the traditional job space, or if you're going to be an entrepreneur or whatever, leading with, I was a Marine, I was a soldier, I did this many years, is fucking a death sentence, in my opinion. Try and move it back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, let someone be like just find out on a random day that you used to be in the Marine Corps. And that is so different, dude. Like, just think about it. Have you ever heard when, like, this singer or this NFL player or this actor or whatever, like, did you know they were a Marine? You're like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about that. It's like, what are you bringing to the table now? And I think that, and I don't mean it in a fucked up way. I'm just saying, if we lead with that all the time, it just becomes muscle memory, and we somehow think it's almost like an entitlement thing, right? Like, we almost, it's in my opinion, it's a way to say, dude, just cut me a break because I'm nervous as hell. I'm not sure if you want me for this job or not. Hopefully the fact that I'm using a lot of military examples makes you think I'm some fucking stud and that I belong here, when it's actually super, it's coming from a place of fear. So just, if you're doing what you want to do and you know where you want to go and you're commenting and being part of the community, and if you know this is what you're passionate about because you missed lunch 2 days in a row about it or whatever, then you will be able to, without a shadow of a doubt, shine through as someone who belongs doing that there.
Yeah, that's some great gold grenades. Ambitious Vet, if you're listening to this right now, if you utilize this one golden grenade that Rich just said, I promise you, your life is going to, you'll really start creating that momentum that you're looking for. It's just one thing to be said. If you're acting from your values and understanding what you like, what you don't like, and identifying that, you're going to save a lot of time in careers that are not fulfilling you, because long term, you're not going to provide any economical value to that organization and or any increased economical value in your own life. So definitely get ahead of those landmines by implementing just one golden grenade Rich just dropped in right now. But Rich, back to you. How can an ambitious vet reach out to you, connect with you? Maybe someone just heard, hey, I want to get into video marketing. How did they connect with Rich Cardona?
Easy. We'll start with LinkedIn, where I like to live. So you could just find me at Rich Cardona Video Strategist, Instagram Rich Cardona Media, Facebook Rich Cardona Media, and yeah, man, or just Rich at richcardonamedia.com, man. Just hit me up. And by the way, like, that sounds ridiculous saying my name over so many times, but like, I'm a branding guy, so it's like, all right, like, I want it to be my brand.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm happy to help. And let me just put this word of advice out there. And all this, and Chris, I know you know me. Everything I just said and what I'm about to say comes from a place of literally, truly wanting people to win and succeed and avoid some of these landmines, potholes, whatever you want to call them. If you want help from guys like us or someone out there or anyone, an informational interview, the more specific you are about the help that you want, the more specific help you're going to get. All right. So, like, just really do the fucking pre-work, before you approach people. And that way I could help you so much more than if you try and call one of us on a conversation like, yeah, man, I just don't know what I want to do. Like, that's why this podcast is out. That's why Chris does what he does. That's what I do on the side for veteran advocacy. The more specific help you can articulate, the more specific help you'll get.
Yeah, that's awesome. Be specific, be diligent is principles that are great to live by. Ambitious vet. Well, Rich, I just want to thank you, man, for being a Marine that got out after 17 years and didn't go, raise his disability rating. Maybe you did do that and still went out and did ambitious vet stuff, but just getting out and continuing to serve, brother, and really not settling, conforming, and always looking to get better every single day. And thank you for being on the show, brother.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me on, and I'm thrilled.
Well, there you have it, Ambitious Vet, episode number 73 with Rich Cardona. If you haven't already, subscribe, rate, review the podcast. You can get updates on a weekly basis of the next episode. Also, if you just got one golden grenade from this episode here, go ahead and tag both myself and Rich Cardona on any social media that you use on a daily basis, and let us know what that golden grenade was. And you never know, if you do tag us, I may just be announcing your name in an upcoming episode. So, one thing that we do believe here in the Ambitious Vet Network is that we become more together. If you're out there providing value, providing the best gift that you can supply anybody that's looking to impact anything, and that is social proof, it always comes back to you. So just know that quality people always find quality people, and quality people are always watching. So without further ado, until next week, Ambitious Vet, always remember to hold that vision and trust the process. Let's go get it.